boy. My camera's already frozen up. I don't know why this keeps happening. Oh well. So... Hey Johnny, wasn't sure if anyone was here yet. I started the stream a bit early. We have a launch coming in about 20 minutes, but just trying to get things set up right now. Hey NZ. Hey Tim, good to see you. You guys are right on the ball, eh? I just hit go live and you're already here. I love it. I'm just trying to tweet out a link here and a couple things. And yeah, just kind of started a bit early, so anything you feel like talking about, let me know. Don't really have anything too big planned. I got my drink here, and hopefully you guys can grab one too. Just hang out. So here's my Twitter. Did you hear? Apparently, it's they're gonna recover the rocket tonight. They just kind of mentioned that last minute, so it's nice to see. Or at least, maybe they mentioned it before, but I just saw it like an hour ago. Personally, it's too quiet. I think we need something going here. Okay, well, so I was thinking we could watch some of the India Chandrayaan 3 lander. I don't know if you guys heard about that. Successfully landed on the moon, something Russia just tried to do and crash landed. So really, big moment for India in their space program. They're extremely impressive just with the amount they can do with so little funding. Really more than anyone else, I find they can just do a lot with a little, and really impressive from them. I think we had some actual lunar footage somewhere. Did any of you guys watch the landing live? I mean, I think you just see animations and stuff like that.
Can be seen on the screen.
Yeah. And Rocket Lab, yeah, they're not live as of yet. Maybe I'll go ahead and post in the Discord too. Yeah, I was quite impressed. I mean, I think it really goes to show how times are changing here. Like, Russia used to be the big space country outside of the United States, but now it's really starting to be more like India. China obviously has more launches than basically anyone outside of SpaceX. So China, I mean, I wish they would, do deorbit burns on their boosters and stuff like that. And obviously there's other reasons to, yeah, I hope we do too. This rocket has been, had a bit of bad luck. Some scrubs that had to go back and have some work done on it. So really hoping this time they've got all the wrinkles smoothed out and we can get a good launch going. Hey, Michael, glad you decided to tune in. I feel like I need almost like some background music or something going on while we're waiting for the launch. Let's see. Sorry, I'm always very casual, not the most organized stream. Fun fact is Rocket Lab's, their like little pre-intro music they always run before a launch or an earnings call or whatever starts is copyrighted. So every time I do a live stream, I get demonetized, and basically any ad money from that video goes to the makers of that little song that gets played for 2 minutes before Rocket Lab's live stream starts. Kind of funny, but that's how it goes. I don't really care too much, though. I more just do it to talk to you guys and, you know, have a good time. Enjoy the launches. All right, this is just some random royalty-free music. Let's see. I always find the royalty-free stuff is never very good, but I guess you get what you pay for. Oh yeah, New Zealand. I mean, of course. I mean, I'm from Canada, right? We don't even have any rockets launching, and New Zealand, the little country down there, has more launches than, you know, almost anyone except, I guess, US and China, really. Well, how many launches does ISRO do in a year? You're right, they probably do use Tim Dodd's music. I feel like if we got a hold of Tim Dodd, he'd be okay with uncopywriting it, but I don't think that would happen. Okay. So yeah, there were some cool videos I think ISRO released. Why don't we go ahead and take a look at these while we're waiting. And I'll pause this. Debuts in 5 days. Yeah, I always find it kind of funny when you've got like companies lined up next to nations in terms of, you know, launch cadences and stuff like that. By the way, some cool images here, obviously very grainy. I hope we do get some clearer pictures from them eventually. But yeah, it's like, you know, comparing SpaceX to China, saying SpaceX is #1 and China's #2. It's like, okay, I guess. But then SpaceX is still an American company launching out of America. So why is it like SpaceX to China and not, you know, US to China? I don't know. I guess just to show how dominant they are. But yeah, it's a weird comparison. And it's funny how quickly things change, because they used to be like the scrappy up-and-comer, but we're already talking about worrying about SpaceX becoming a monopoly here. So they're quickly becoming the juggernaut of the industry, kind of sucking all the oxygen out. This is a cool landing video. Did anyone hear the reason Russia's lander crash landed? I think there was some explanation given, but I don't really remember what it was. Second deboosting operation. By the way, ISRO actually launched a bunch of Planet Labs satellites as well early on. So, you know, they also launched commercial stuff. There was a short video somewhere of the lander actually coming in that looked really cool. Is it this one? Maybe it's this one. Of course we get the ads. Yeah, I can't wait for it as well. Probably still going to be a little while, so we're going to have to be patient for sure. But, you know, we're starting to see some tangible stuff, which is exciting. Starting to see some tanks, some pictures.
Landing, the soft landing on the moon on the 23rd of August as part of the mission Chandrayaan-3. And ISRO has just put out images. It's a new video of the moon as captured by the lander.
Yeah, I thought there was a different
its position detection camera. This was captured on the 15th of August 2023. It just gives us an indication of the proximity of the lander to the lunar surface, and it's only a matter of time, just a matter of days, before that soft landing happens, approximately around 5:30 in the evening on the 23rd of August. Let me go across to Dharani for more on this. Dharani, take us through the video that ISRO has put out.
ISRO has shared a video of the moon captured by the lander position detection camera of Chandrayaan 3. So this video was taken on August 15th is what, they've told us August 15th is our Independence Day. So this video was taken on the day of, India's independence. And
yeah, I guess just discussing it. Oh, this video is from back on the 15th, so not today. I thought there was one that went out today. Anyway, I'm just posting on the Discord here. Sorry, 1 second, guys. By the way, if you're not on the Discord, feel free to join. The link's always in the description. Okay. It is kind of nice for a change to have the launch from New Zealand be, at a time where I can reasonably watch it live and don't have to wait to like 1:30 in the morning, stay up to watch. So, I mean, I do like Virginia for that, but I think something about the New Zealand launches, they seem to be a bit more reliable. They seem to get a bit better weather most of the time and go off without a hitch, at least so far. Obviously, we did have the delays on this one. And so have any of you guys made any trades lately in the market? It was a green day today. It was nice to see. What do we have for Rocket Lab stock? Yeah, I think we're just going to embrace the Tim Dodd music. Oh wait, no, that's this one. Okay. Hey John, thanks for watching. Yeah, I saw the next Starship launch is actually coming surprisingly soon. I remember when we saw the massive destruction from the last test launch, everyone's like, well, they'll be lucky to go again by the end of the year. But SpaceX, their speed is really impressive. You can't argue with that, whether you like other aspects of the company or not. And yeah, it's looking like they could launch again very soon. I'll be excited to watch that one as well. Oh yeah, I was just going to take a quick look at the stock while we're here. It's interesting to see we got a bit more info on SpaceX's valuation. Some people leaked some documents around the recent capital raise they had. Sounds like they finally turned profitable for the last couple quarters. Valued at around 150 billion, I think it was. Rocket Lab, I think it's probably like 2 and change right now. So, clearly a big disparity. I'm not saying Rocket Lab should be valued at the same as SpaceX, but I think it's interesting to look at how they're valued, having a company like that which operated at a loss for so long. Anyway, yeah, I think Rocket Lab was up like 1.8% today, something like that. Not bad.
Hey there,
looking at the chart for the last.
Sad because summer's almost over.
Yeah,
what?
Sorry guys, I don't have
Why would you say that?
Spotify
it's
Premium.
August.
Yeah, but winter is literally.
What is this, one day?
All I'm saying is summer doesn't have to end. With
Not bad on a
vacation deals from
one-year
Solid
basis,
Vacations.
really. It's when you zoom
Whether it's
out
a last-minute
further that
deal
you can
or
see
fun for the whole
early
family.
on.
Sell off
How do you guys
vacations
feel like
as
the
you
stock's
cover.
going to
Whatever
trade
you
for the
make it,
next,
make it worth.
6 months or rest of the year? I kind of feel like maybe we're in a new range for a little while. I mean, I don't think I expect like another massive run, like up to 10 plus this year.
And more,
A
so
bit
you can
loud?
travel anywhere with
Okay.
guidance by your side. The Seltos helps keep you out of
turn
harm's
this
way
down
during all
there.
your trips. Upgrade to the vehicle that lets you live fully by combining adventure with safety. Secure your new 2024
down a
Kia
bit.
Seltos at
Hopefully
your
that's
local
all
dealer.
right.
Visit kia.ca for details. Kia. Movement that inspires.
So yeah, I kind of feel like we're looking at, maybe 7, maybe like from 8 to like, to just under 5 could be like a range we trade in for a little while. And like I haven't ruled out adding more either, so long term, obviously, I think we'll go way beyond that. Like, the question is just when, right? That's an interesting question. Yeah, I don't think Rocket Lab does. Thanks, Howard. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, and I don't think they would go for a 24-hour schedule. I wonder how that works. Like, that's pretty tough on employees. I wonder if they must get paid extra if they're working nights. I guess it does help with the speed, and like coming to market at the right time is really key for the launch market getting online right as all these constellations are coming online. As long as we hold above 5.5. Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking, Cyberface. Maybe like consolidate around this kind of range and trade sideways for a little while, which isn't bad. You know, it can't go up forever, and we did have a nice run. I hope everyone, well, if you believe in the stock, I hope you took advantage of our lows down in the high threes, because personally, I feel like we're not going to see the threes again. Again, I'm often wrong about short-term stock moves. That's why I hold long-term for the most part. But I don't feel like we'll get down there again. Barring some big disaster, who knows? Should be getting pretty close. 3 minutes away from the start. Hey, look, who's this guy over here? 3 minutes away. I don't know if you guys saw that interesting article from Eric Berger talking to Peter Beck. Where is it? There's some interesting tidbits in there. And let me know if you have any suggestions on topics for my next videos, by the way. Still trying to think of a few. It's funny enough, it seems like wait. I didn't see this before. We are ready to launch their pre-flown Rutherford engine. Is that not on this? That's not on this launch, right? Yeah, I kind of tend to agree with you, Howard. For me, like, fours is like the heavy buy zone. If it hits that, like, I know I said I kind of hit the amount I really wanted to at least get. I got to that amount of shares, which was 10,000. But like, if it goes back down into the fours somehow, I don't think it will, but if it did, like, I'm still gonna be buying probably pretty heavy somehow. Wait a second. Yes, it is. Oh, that's amazing. I didn't even... Jeez, I'm really behind on this. Sorry, it's been a little crazy lately. So let's see if this mission... Rocket Lab will fly a pre-flown 3D... That's amazing. They swapped out the first stage. They swapped out the entire first stage, so I was right then. It wasn't a recovery booster before. I thought it was just a really minor issue. I'm kind of surprised they swapped out the entire first stage. Maybe... So, do you guys have any info on what the issue was? I thought it was just like some minor thing. I guess if this lets them fly the quickest, then sure, why not? And I can't complain about having the reflown Rutherford move up. So I guess that was probably planned for the next launch, and now they're moving it up to this launch, which is pretty exciting. Really looking forward to seeing how it performs. I don't expect any problems. They've already hot fired it. We saw the video of them hot firing it. Swapped it to keep up the schedule. Okay. Yeah, I thought it might have just been like a really quick fix. They could, you know, swap out some part without really disrupting the schedule too much, but I guess not. Hopefully, it's still not a big deal. I'm sure that booster will get used eventually. Right. Yeah. I mean, every reuse mission is a step forward. I heard they're even kind of, you know, testing materials for Neutron, sending them up on some of these boosters, seeing how they perform and stuff like that. So that's kind of an advantage to already flying Electron while you're developing Neutron. Do we know for sure, Michael, that it was an engine that was the issue? Yeah. I feel like now that I'm finding out this, I feel like, you know, this launch is even a bigger deal. So yeah, I'm definitely glad I am live streaming it. It's very exciting stuff. Sensor data for an engine. Okay, thanks, Michael. Okay. What would I do without you guys? I swear half the time I'm just learning more from you than you are from me. But, you know, that's okay. As long as you enjoy hanging out. Oh, I'm sure they'll talk about the engine if it's a success once the live stream comes along here. They're usually pretty timely, so it should be any time now that this starts. If this launch and recovery is successful, look at the... Yeah, I did do that a while back, Cyberface. I made a whole little spreadsheet kind of estimating the margins on a reusable vehicle versus expendable, and you know, how much impact that would have. I can go over it again. I suppose it might be a little better now that they're not paying for the helicopter, but maybe it's a wash because they still have to go get it with the boat to bring it back, and there's probably more refurbishment work to do. Yeah, they new tweet with all pics. What tweet are you talking about? Is it a Rocket Lab tweet? Let's see. If you're new joining here, guys, we're just kind of hanging out and killing time until the live stream starts from Rocket Lab. Yeah, we do. Okay. For the first time, we're launching with a pre-flown Rutherford engine. Who here can spot which one's pre-flown? Looks pretty obvious to me. I think we have a winner down here. It's kind of cool that you can actually tell the difference. Still working though. Might as well get more work out of these videos. Yeah, I mean, I did see some info on Peter's history and stuff like that. Have you seen the official Rocket Lab YouTube? I mean, I've checked out their channel, of course. Have you seen the picture of him riding the rocket bike that he made back when he was younger in some kind of a bike race? That was wild stuff. He could have killed himself on that thing, but it's pretty funny. It's in the book, the When the Heavens Went on Sale video, if you haven't seen it. I never would have taken him to be the kind of guy who would do stuff like that. He just seems very calm and a little bit more reserved, but you know, I guess when he was younger. It's a badass looking rocket. Yeah, we got the hot Rocket Lab production. This is a lot of boosters here. Like, wow, they're just pumping them out. Now we just need the customers really to keep up, which they've been signing a lot of contracts lately, which has been great. T-minus 20 minutes. Yeah, I love these shots when they have the video of all the rockets launching at the same time, like synchronized with all the little mission patches and stuff. I always find that looks super cool. Yeah, company really started from nothing. I couldn't believe it when I read Peter Beck gave up 50% of the company, which was nothing originally, but he gave up 50% of the company to a first investor for $300,000. He just really had to get it going. He was able to buy that back at one point when that investor left. They had a difference of opinion about launching for, you know, militaries and governments and stuff like that. So that investor ultimately ended up leaving. His name was actually Rocket or something, I think, something weird. But yeah, really started from very little. Very impressive. Definitely spirit of entrepreneurship there. What's this about ETFs? I didn't see. Sure, I don't see what he. For some reason, all the So some comments appear on the live screen, on the screen at the bottom right, but they don't actually show up on my like back end reading where I can actually read them better. So it gets a little confusing. I do hold some ETFs as well, mostly for the safer side of my portfolio, just kind of like holding the whole market or the S&P 500. I have the VEQT. It's just like all equities because I'm not usually a big fan of bonds personally. I know a lot of people like to have like an ETF with like 30%, 40% bonds for stability. Yeah, Mark Rocket, exactly. What are the odds, right? His name's Mark Rocket and he ends up investing in a rocket company. Man, can you imagine though, 300,000? That would have been worth so much at Rocket Lab's peak. It was like 50% of the company. Rocket Lab's peak valuation must have been well over 3 billion. That would have, you know, turned into potentially like $2 billion. Yeah, he did end up buying it back. I think it ended pretty amicably between them from what I saw in the book. I think they were in a kind of crunch for money and oh, did he change his name? Okay. Yeah, they were in a crunch for money. Peter was like okay on taking on some work from the government and like military at that point, and I think Mark didn't want to. From what I understand, New Zealanders are extremely like anti-weaponry and military, which I can completely get behind, and I of course don't think we should be, you know, testing, blowing up satellites and creating all this orbital debris or putting, you know, missiles inside satellites orbiting the Earth and weaponizing it and stuff like that. Definitely would agree with him on that kind of thing for sure. But it's an unfortunate truth that like a lot of the money in the space industry is still coming from the government. I mean, that's starting to change, but yeah, that's kind of how it is. I still do have to say, I think the Mahai Peninsula, I don't know, maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong. I think this launch complex does look a lot cooler than Virginia. Kind of has the cool factor with the cliffside view. Stage 1 igniter test complete. Okay, we're getting a lot of tweets from them today, actually. And then that one video, man, Eric Berger always has the best articles. There's the one, he had the interview with Kemp recently where there was a lot of, what do they call it? I want to say direct, but he was being blunt. Dmitry Rosgozin, that guy is quite a guy, I guess we'll just say that. Where's the article with Peter Beck, though? Yeah, I really hope Rocket Factory Austria will make it. I don't know how much funding they have. Jeez. Okay, here we are finally with the article where he interviewed Peter Beck. Hey Derek, I've been holding for a while now. I was lucky enough to be able to kind of reach my target share count. Well, what I initially set as, you know, I told myself I want at least 10,000 shares because if I really believe in it, I want to buy like a solid amount, not just like, you know. So anyway, I was lucky enough to reach that share count while the stock price was still relatively lower. I think my average cost is around $4.50, so I definitely did buy some in the 5s, in the 4s, in the 3s as it was dropping. I wouldn't be opposed to adding more, especially if it does drop into the fours again. I kind of have a feeling it may not, or at least not below 450. That's just kind of my gut guess, and I could be way off on that. If it does drop down there, I'll probably buy more. My problem is I don't have a lot of free cash right now, personally, so I've been kind of renovating the house, and a lot of money has gone into that, and vacation coming up and stuff. So I would have to sell other stocks, and that's where it becomes challenging to bring yourself to sell a company, and then you have to realize gains and pay taxes on those gains and kind of compare what you're selling with what you're buying. And there's a lot more implications to your portfolio, I think, than if you're just buying with new cash you have on hand. But I would do it, especially if Rocket Lab dropped down in the fours. But yeah, long answer is right now, lately, I've been holding. I will let you guys know if I buy more. Every time I make a trade, I always mention it in a video. I always try to be open about that. Oh, Augsburg. Okay. What did I say? Austria? Yeah. Sorry. I knew it was a German company too, so I don't know why I said that. I guess that's just kind of what I thought the A would be. What? Oh no. We have a half-hour delay here on the Rocket Lab stream. So you're all stuck with just looking at me, I guess, for another half hour. By the way, if we do have anyone here who hasn't subscribed to the YouTube channel, feel free to... Oh no, it's just the music. Feel free to do that. Definitely very much appreciated. Every single subscriber. Just throw it out there. But yeah, this was a very interesting article from Eric Berger. I don't know if you guys all... a lot of you probably already saw it. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, Peter. Something really bad would have to happen. Failure, I don't know. Or you don't... a lot of this, I know we like to think like we just pick a good company and that's it. But every company is really impacted by the overall markets so much more than I guess a lot of people think or realize. So if the wider economy has like a big crash or like a hard landing, the whole markets could drop another like 20%, then yes, I think Rocket Lab could go back in the fours, even if they didn't do anything wrong themselves. That's kind of just how it seems to go. It's like the tide. When it's rising, everyone rises. When it falls, everyone falls. If you're performing well, then you just happen to fall less than the other companies. But it seems to be just how it goes. How do you guys feel about the overall stock market? Do you think we're headed for new lows, lower lows? I have to admit I haven't been watching the pundits and the talking heads as much lately. Just been busier with other things. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the Fed does with the interest rate hikes. I feel like, I mean, of course, I'm not an economist. I don't have a master's PhD. I feel like they should be done, but sounds like they'll do at least one more. That could be a good point, Matt. That could be like a show of strength, the fact that interest rates are so high, which is so bad for growth companies, and Rocket Lab still, you know, $6 per share for a company that's not profitable right now. There has definitely been a bit of a show of strength from the company lately compared to their peers. Yeah, I just heard about the Jackson Hole event. By the way, I was trying to think, I don't know if anyone is like hardcore into the rocket engineering and stuff like that, or even took like aerospace engineering. I was curious, just throw it out to you guys out there. What do you think is the minimum size of a rocket, like in terms of mass to orbit, where it becomes viable to have the upper stage be reusable? I remember hearing rumors that they wanted to do it with Falcon 9 and they couldn't really make it work. So it seems like it has to be larger than a Falcon 9, I would imagine. And obviously, Neutron's quite a bit smaller than a Falcon 9, so it would have to grow a lot before that could even be viable. And then, of course, Terran R was supposed to be... Yeah. One thing about Jerome Powell is he doesn't tend to surprise you, which I guess could be a good thing. But yeah, even Relativity canceled their upper stage reusability, and that rocket, I believe, was supposed to be larger than a Falcon 9. So do you really have to get to the scale of Starship to make reusing a second stage worthwhile? But then again, New Glenn, they were looking at a reusable first or second stage. This half a beer is hitting me, guys. I hope you guys are having a drink. I want to make a video on Stoke. I don't know if it would get much traction, but they do look interesting. So I know Tim Dodd's already done it. So like, that's kind of one of the reasons I didn't. It's like, what am I going to say that he hasn't already said? And he actually got to go there and see everything. But they do sound like a very interesting company, so I still want to look into them. Yeah. I'm curious to see if New Glenn's upper stage reusability does come to fruition. If they do that, I don't think they're going to do that right out of the gate. I mean, there's so much we don't know about New Glenn, but I get the sense they would go with expendable and kind of introduce the reusable second stage a bit later. Come on, Rocket Lab. You guys are usually on time. We can even just wait and see the rocket on the pad while we're waiting. Those guys. Stoke Space. What should we reply to Eric? Yeah, we know so little. I guess it's all just speculation with New Glenn. The thing is, there's enough hints, like, Blue Origin is obviously still serious about it. So, like, it's not like there's all these delays, but they're still, like, designing things to fit inside that fairing. Like, from what I understand, a lot of the concerns around their lunar lander design was to make sure it would work with New Glenn. So, like, clearly they're still serious about it. Is it 45 tons to Leo? What does Falcon Heavy do? But I think Falcon Heavy, the bottleneck is more around fairing size than mass. During today's... That's nice. I would like to see it re-enter. We could see some nice parachute action. I always love to watch that. I really wish we had just gotten one live stream where I was live streaming and we saw a successful catch and it brought it all the way back to land. Then they could have canceled the whole program. But it's just so much more exciting, I think, to watch. Obviously, whatever makes more financial sense, they should do. And they probably, they did. They made that decision. It's just from like a fun point of view. I selfishly kind of wanted that. That's interesting. Is there a lot of... I remember hearing about something like around that with ULA. So, I mean, again, my knowledge of like low Earth orbit and satellite orbits is definitely not where I'd love it to be. But for propellant depots, wouldn't it still be like you would need a lot of them there, right? Because in order to, rendezvous with the depot. And don't you have boil-off still? Like, isn't boil-off still a pretty big problem? I always hear that talked about when we're talking about the Starship tankers and stuff like that. But yeah, if boil-off wasn't a huge problem and you could just have them as depots in low Earth orbit, that may make sense, especially if you want to go, farther missions. Would they be used for keeping satellites in service longer, or would they be used for refueling and going off to, say, Mars or something like that? I'd imagine if we're talking a Vulcan, it has to be Yeah, I still don't. I still need to figure out exactly how boil off works, because, like, if the fuel is in, I don't know. Anyway, yet another thing. I hope the Dolphins come back. Did they leave? Are we talking the Miami Dolphins? Or are we? Oh, we're talking Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, aren't we? So long and thanks for all the fish. Net 745. Oh my god. I might not be able to stay on this long. I'm kind of monopolizing the main area of the house, and the fiance may want to use the TV at some point. Man. Net 745. Was there a reasoning behind that, Yeti? Was it like a weather-related thing? Oh, the dolphins from the recovery photo. Of course. Yeah, let's see. Just curious if we can see any reasoning behind the... I mean, it should be on their Twitter, right? Dedicated launch deal. This was the Japanese one, I believe, right? Yeah, Japanese company. Let's check Rocket Lab's Twitter again. Tune in starting at about T-minus 20 minutes. So if launch is net 745 and they start at T-minus 20, this should be a little bit off. Anyway, we'll see what happens when the countdown gets to 0. Obviously, I'm not going to go offline here if we're seeing 7 minutes until coverage starts. Here's a question for you guys, because I used to be worried about potential competition for Electron, obviously talking about Virgin Orbit, Astra, all of them. There are so many of these small launch companies popping up. Now I'm wondering, is there going to be any competition for Electron? Like, it's so quickly how this has been changing. Maybe Electron is going to be the only long-term small launcher. Like, we still have ABL working on it. I don't know what their status is. They lost the launches for the Kuiper test satellites, and obviously Rocket Factory, make sure I say it right, what was it, Augsburg? And I think there's a few German ones. I want to say there's even something in South America. But the field seems to be thinning out quite a lot. Astra's putting their rocket on pause. Obviously, Relativity canceled their smaller rocket. Firefly is still a question mark. I think that's more of a 1-ton size rocket. So it's kind of on the edge if you consider it small launch. But it's definitely useful for that. The TAM for hypersonic testing, from what I saw, was only 1 billion. So it's a good size. It's not like massive, but I assume there's not a lot of other options out there. Yeah, I think it was definitely a smart move for them. Parth, you're the best. You're too good to me. I don't know why you keep doing this. Thank you. Hope things are going well for you. This action cannot be performed. All right, I can't react. Anyway, thanks, buddy. So yeah, is anyone here gonna be living near the test for Neutron? They're gonna be doing some first stage tank testing in New Zealand, I believe. And we're definitely not gonna have a lot of coverage of, like, you know, NASA spaceflight people like there was for Starship and is for Starship, constant footage. Oh yeah, bit of a delay on that. You could still pop one open, you know, make it a something light. Yeah, I hope you guys are having one too, watching out there. Oh man, you know the funny thing is, like, I don't know, I probably shouldn't even talk about this stuff, but whatever. On stream, like, I used to drink more, I guess, before the pandemic and all that, and I just feel like nowadays, I even have one beer and, like, I start to notice it, feel it. Like, I used to be able to have like 3, and I'd be like, I don't really notice a difference, but I don't know, maybe it's just because I don't drink as often these days anymore or something, or I don't know what it is, but yeah. So you'll have to warn me if I, yeah, you would know. I mean, of course you would know, Cyberface. So, upper stage testing. The destructive first test, though, yeah. Anyway, if anyone's in New Zealand and can snap some pictures of that, if they do it out in the open, that'd be amazing. Pretty much anything these days. I don't know. I always bounce around different beers. I don't have like a favorite right now. Clearly, I'm just drinking a Molson Canadian. So if you guys don't drink this much, it's just kind of like our cheap stuff that doesn't taste great, but it's just what I had around. Like a Rickards Red or Stella. Depends on my mood, I guess. I wonder if we'll... Yeah, see, that's the thing. I just wish we had more footage and coverage of Neutron testing and stuff. Like, we have all these people watching Starship, and I just get the sense we're not going to have any of that with Neutron. We'll get a few videos, like, after the fact. Rocket Lab will release a video and be like, oh, by the way, a month ago, we did this. And I'm like, I want to see it now, like, as it's happening. Thanks, Joshua, for hanging out with this. Appreciate it. Might have to go to Mahai, yeah. I would love to go to New Zealand. Never been there. Australia, never been anywhere in Asia. The flight from Canada is so long. It would definitely be rough, but I would love to do it. It looks really nice there. Have to visit where they filmed Lord of the Rings. Hobbiton or whatever. ETS with Rocket Lab exposure. Yeah, I remember looking at Tsar. And then, of course, Arc, which is the space one? Arc X would probably have Rocket Lab, I believe. But for those, I guess you're probably looking, you should, you know, look at what they cover, not just whether they hold Rocket Lab. Yeah, we'll see. Thanks, Parth. Hope you're doing well these days. We'll see. Like, I have my doubts that it'll ever be like Starship is. But I do hope we get some some people flying their drones over there, doing whatever they can to get us some views. Yeah, well, he's very careful, right? And I think he's very conservative with what he says and with timelines. Like, even with this engine, they said, like, oh, that we'll refly an engine by the end of the year. And then, like, 3 weeks later, they're reflying an engine. Like, clearly, they had it lined up to go well before the end of the year. But Peter Beck, that is, seems to always want to be like super safe. Make sure if they say they're going to do something, they'll definitely be able to do it. Kind of the opposite of Elon in that way, really, because Elon's like, oh, I think we can do it in 2 weeks, and then like 2 months come, and he's like, yeah, it's looking like about 2 weeks. But over the long run, SpaceX does move very fast. I think Elon's just a little optimistic in his timeline. Once again, we've hit 0 countdown, but if Yeti did say net 7:45 and launch coverage does start 20 minutes before, hopefully we're looking at like 10 minutes. Under promise, over deliver, exactly, yeah. Which is probably a good way to go about it when you're a public company, because I feel like any surprise to the downside, there's always an overreaction. Well, at least, yeah, me and you will go to New Zealand. At least, though, Neutron will be launching out of the US, so we can just head over there to Virginia, catch the Neutron launch. That'd be amazing, eh? If we go there for the first launch in person. Could probably even pull that off next year or 2025, maybe? That could be a lot of fun. I've never been to a rocket launch in person, like any rocket launch, so it would be very cool to see. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, Spielbar, but, you know, people were talking about ETFs, so I was just throwing it out there. But I don't mind ETFs when they're, like, not actively managed and they kind of are just holding, you know, the overall market or a certain sector or something like that. I might do that if I just say I want exposure to the banking sector or to whatever. So I have one, again, that was like holding the all overall markets. I used to have like holding the S&P 500. I think I still have some of that. Yeah, I'll see you there, Francisco. Could have a meetup. Could be a lot of fun. Have you guys ever seen a launch before? Like live, I mean, in person? I know Timmy has. Timmy's probably not here, but he's always telling us about them. Surrounded by that's too bad. Maybe they should just, you know, embrace all the fans a bit more and let us watch. Thanks for letting me know, Daniel. So I guess we're gonna be kind of out of luck for that kind of thing, unless you want to drive out there and try and fly a drone in sneakily, but something tells me that may not end very well. Yeah, it's surprising how many of us are fans that have never got to see one in person. NVIDIA, that's completely random. Oh, that would have been an amazing launch to see. I assume you saw both of those side boosters return to the launch pad and heard the sonic booms and all that kind of stuff, and the fact that they were almost synchronized. That launch looks super cool. Yeah, you would never be able to get it. That's kind of what I was saying, Daniel. It's kind of just being a little sad that we're never going to get the level of coverage for Neutron that we do for oh my god, Starship. But you know, I'm sure we'll get some stuff, and we'll just have to try and get as much as we can. Thanks for still hanging out with me, guys. Very much appreciated. I know we were all expecting the coverage to start quite a while ago, and we're still waiting here. That's pretty cool. Do you like, I assume you're talking about the New Zealand launch site, Paul? You like it there? Yeah, I can't argue with that. Like, especially if I talk to people who don't have the time or the interest to spend like a ton of time researching stocks and like putting a lot of effort into it, I usually do tell them, like, You should probably just put your money into some index funds, some ETFs. You can't really go wrong.
What? Why would you say that? It's only August.
I would love to petition them to do that, Michael. We'll see. But I think it's a little harder to get views.
With vacation deals from Sell Off Vacations.
Whether
But
it's
it
a
is
last-minute
Wallops.
deal or
Yeah,
fun
maybe.
for the whole family, Sell Off Vacations has you covered.
Been keeping an eye,
Make it with
trying to see if we have any satellite images of the grading of the land starting, because in the last earnings call they mentioned they're going to start, grading, like flattening the land to put on the pads and stuff like that, but haven't seen anything yet. And I feel like that's one of those things we should be seeing very soon if we're still hoping for a 2024 launch. I feel like they're starting to back off of that a little bit. Still a lot to go on Archimedes as well in order to launch in 2024. Could be possible, but there's always delays on rockets. Oh man, Dolan, yeah, that's something I've thought about many times and I don't have a good answer for. I guess it really depends on the year. One thing is, when we have all these constellations up and running, they all do need to be constantly replenished as satellites re-enter every 5 to 10 years depending on their orbit. So you'd think that could support a decent number of launches, but I mean, it also has to go, like, market conditions play a big factor. What other rockets are launching at the time? Is Starship really that cheap that it can compete for some of these payloads that Neutron would want? I don't think that's going to happen that soon. It's just so huge, and they have their own Starlink V2 to worry about. So yeah, potentially. The original logo was a bit much. 7:25. Where are we? 3 minutes until we think they should start coverage. Have they said anything else? Target lift off. Yeah, 1945 EDT. So 7:45. Staying with the booster as it returns to Earth. Yeah, I do agree with the Elon dollars type thing. Apparently they're still waiting on the FCC for return, which is kind of crazy to me. Varda, that is, Vino. That was the last I heard. I heard their manufacturing was complete ages ago, so I'm not too sure why it's taking so long to get clearance for them to return. But anytime now, I would imagine. Yeah, no, like I was thinking about a Starship, and it's just like I can't even visualize them launching all these tiny, small satellites. It would just look silly. It would make no sense. Like, yeah. You think so, eh? So okay, so Black Sky and Planet Labs, Inspire, yeah. I guess they would all be imaging. Spire, I think, is more like radio. Who do you like the best out of those three, Spielbear? I think... So, for my money, Planet Labs was in the lead, and lately Black Sky, I have to say, has been doing quite well. They've had some good announcements. They've kind of overtaken Planet Labs. Let's see if we can pull up Main Street data and compare them, actually. Since we're waiting, I think they were added. Let's see. Black Sky so far. Fair enough. I mean, clearly they've outperformed Planet Labs over the last, at least in terms of the stock, over the last 4 or 5 months. So You've been right on that one so far. Let's see, I was talking about getting Black Sky added. Black Sky. Compare this with Planet Labs. Okay, so Planet still has a lot more revenues. They have kind of flattened off and even dropped a bit on the last quarter. Gross profit. Growth rates seem pretty similar, really. Then again, I guess this part is in Black Sky's favor, where the operating income much more, you know, losing less than Planet Labs for sure. So that's negative 44 versus just negative 20. Huge, yeah, of course. Guys, and I do, like, when I talk about these space companies, they're all risky. Like, I hope you understand. Especially some of these small satellite providers. I'm not advocating putting your entire portfolio in one basket, but I also love space and do love a lot of them. Net income for Black Sky, that's one quarter here. And they must have made like an acquisition or something, but other than that, it's generally been better than Planet. This more recent quarter, they did up their burn a bit. Oh, are we starting to get some? Here we go. Finally, guys. Let's go! Wait, a hidden AI play? That's an interesting one. This is mostly a promo video we've seen before. Still looks super cool, of course. Yeah, I understand. I think they've really proven themselves at this point, though, Electron. Always love the badges.
You are looking at our Electron rocket, pardon me, ready on the launch pad as we begin the countdown to liftoff in a little over 15 minutes for today's mission. We love the nightlife for Capella Space. Hello and welcome to the live broadcast of our 40th Electron launch, scheduled for liftoff at 11:45 a.m. local time or 11:45 UTC. The sun is trying to shine. It's doing its best over Pad B at Rocket Lab Launch Complex 1 in Mahia, our orbital launch site in New Zealand. And we are counting down to today's launch in just 18 minutes from now.
That was the music.
My name is Muriel Baker.
And I'm Likita Satursala. And we're back in mission control for today's dedicated launch for Capella Space, after having stood down from the first attempt a couple of weeks ago due to an engine sensor reading. In the final moments before launch, one of the Rutherford engine sensors picked up on low igniter pressure, which meant the rocket flagged it as no-go for launch, and there was an automatic safe abort. Now we're back on the pad and ready for next attempt.
And not only have we returned to the pad, but we are back with an exciting new twist. Congratulations to those of you paying attention to the rocket in our opening shot and who have figured it out already, because we all know by now that for Rocket Lab, red means recovery. And so with a new red booster on the pad, today's launch is also a recovery mission.
Really?
Or a splash and grab, as we'll probably call one of our future recovery launches. So why the switch to recovery? Well, Electron's rolling off our factory floor every 3 weeks or so now, and we had a recovery booster fresh off the production line and ready to go in the days before our first launch attempt. The call was made to bring forward that recovery booster and swap the payload onto this Electron to tighten the turnaround to get back to the pad for Capella and accelerate our efforts to make Electron a reusable rocket at the exact same time.
There's even more exciting recovery news to this launch, because today, for the first time in Electron's history, we're launching with the Rutherford engine that we've already flown before. This recycled 3D printed engine was part of the power pack that flew the there and back again recovery mission we launched in May last year. After bringing this stage and its engines back from the ocean, we refurbished one of those engines for a full requalification campaign. That meant taking it through all of the same acceptance tests we performed for our brand new engines, including multiple full mission duration hot fires. The results were impressive, with the engine hitting all of its marks and performing at the same level as the newly built ones. So it was given the green light by our propulsion team for reflight.
We will be attempting to bring back this engine again, along with the first stage, once it makes its way back to Earth from space underneath a parachute today. Our marine recovery team are in place, and you can see the feed from the boat right there on your screen, and they are waiting for the call to move in for collection once it splashes down. This recovery mission will be our 8th booster recovery attempt and one of the team's final tests before we attempt to refly not just one engine, but an entire previously flown Stage 1 on a mission in the coming months.
Their final test
today
in
is
the coming months, guys.
A hugely exciting mission and a big step towards reusable Electron
that
rockets.
Could be very soon.
The primary mission for today, though, is of course to
they
deliver
always
a
like to
satellite to low Earth orbit for Capella
so it could be
space.
very soon.
The payload onboard Electron is a single Acadia satellite that will join Capella's constellation on orbit, producing synthetic aperture radar imagery, otherwise called SAR. SAR is a form of radar that creates images by bouncing radio signals off the Earth's surface and measuring the amount of signal that echoes back, creating images based on strength and time delay of the return signal.
The great capability of SAR is that Capella satellites are able to create images in all weather conditions and whether it is day or night, delivering on-demand data when and where it is needed from. Today's launch of the first next-generation Acadia satellite by Capella will mean even faster downlink speeds and higher quality images for Capella's data users.
Mass of an Electron launch is less than 100 kilograms.
To reiterate, the goal of this pass is to establish contact and assess spacecraft health. Command, do you have any questions? Let's rock and roll.
We learn really fast. And we build satellites here in San Francisco. We learn things quickly. We go back in the factory and we make changes. And we go back to the launch site and launch new satellites. There's one team and one company in the world that could do this. It's this team and it's this company, it's Capella. And that's why we're the first and only American company that's ever been able to do this. I mean, we were the first American company to put a commercial SAR satellite. We're the highest resolution SAR imagery in the world in the most compact form. We're the first one that's able to do real-time tasking, which means people are going to be able to get their imagery as quickly as it's possible. So it's not just that we've done something as complex as putting a satellite up, we've put up the best satellite in space. And we've done that with just 100 or so people in a very short amount of time.
We Love the Nightlife is our 3rd dedicated Electron launch for Capella and the first of a new 4-launch deal that will see Capella back on the pad with Electron multiple times this year. Those missions, much like today's launch, will deploy a single Acadia satellite to a 640-kilometre mid-inclination orbit from LC-1, helping to expand Capella's constellation and provide more rapid revisits across diverse regions on Earth.
Checking in on the clock, we're approaching T-minus 12 minutes and 48 seconds, so it's time to listen into the go, no-go poll by today's launch director, Joseph Carpico. The LD will check and confirm with each station that the respective systems are go for launch. Let's listen in.
I do have to say the facilities they have look super cool. Okay. Maybe you are right, Michael. I'd have to double check that. I haven't looked into Spire in that much detail.
This is the LD on mission with the go, no-go sequence. Stage.
Stage is go.
Avionics.
Avionics is go.
GNC.
GNC is go.
Beacon on.
Beacon is go.
I think
T1.
bubble wrap is probably
T1
the answer the
GC.
entire launch industry has been looking for this whole time, and we cracked the code right here. So.
RSO.
RSO is go.
MET.
MET is go.
RF.
RF is go.
MM.
MM is go.
Recovery.
Recovery is go.
Recovery
LD
is
sub.
go.
LD sub is go.
That concludes the go, no-go sequence. We are T-minus 11 minutes, 20 seconds and counting. We are
Getting
go for
close.
terminal count at T-minus 10 minutes. From this time, the 3-word hold procedure is in effect.
And with that, Mission Control confirms that we'll be proceeding with the rest of today's countdown and moving forward to liftoff in around 11 minutes.
Of bubble wrap ever.
As we count down to liftoff, let's take a closer look at our Electron rocket. Electron is a 3-stage launch vehicle capable of lifting 320 kilograms or 705 pounds to low Earth orbit. It's made from carbon composite and stands 18 meters or 59 feet tall. And when it is fully fueled, weighs in at around 13,000 kilograms or 28,500 pounds. The hardest work for Electron is in the first few minutes of launch, when the 9 engines at the bottom of stage 1 that you can see there takes us through the dense atmosphere of Earth with 224 kilonewtons of thrust. Those engines are the Rutherford, our world first 3D printed electric pump fed engines.
I mean,
at around 70 kilometers altitude, roughly 2.5 minutes into flight,
Daniel.
we jettison the first stage, and the vacuum-optimized Rutherford engine on the second stage will light up and take us the rest of the way to orbit.
Now, once we get to orbit, around 9 minutes into flight, our second stage separates from our third stage, which we call the kick stage. The kick stage takes the payload from an initial elliptical orbit to a circular orbit ahead of deployment, using a small but highly capable 3D printed engine called Curie. We're just 10 minutes away now from our 40th liftoff.
Sorry,
it feels like just yesterday Electron lifted off the pad for the very first time. A lot has changed since then, with the commissioning of our second pad here at LC1, dedicated pad on the eastern shore of the US with LC2, missions to the moon, bigger rockets, the list goes on. So as we look to the sky for the 40th time,
I don't mind
let's take a look
And by the way, guys, let me know
39.
if I'm talking too much or not enough. I'm never really sure if it's okay for me to talk over these live streams,
Honestly, it feels
or if
like
you want me to stay
was
quieter.
Just a few weeks ago. And I just want to take this moment to congratulate the whole team for getting us to this point, and also all of our customers who have entrusted us to fly their precious payloads. We've done some amazing missions from little CubeSats to all the way to the moon. And it's a great privilege to be here today. So as we fly out here 40, can't wait for 80 and beyond.
I am also a coffee addict, unfortunately, although I do love it. Yeah, I sometimes I still don't understand how rockets can do the things they do. That's true, yeah. Is this a new? I think this is a new promo video they've made. Yeah, that's a cool shot. Let's take a look at some of this footage later on. Love it. Oh, if so, Dallin, I haven't looked at that. I will need to. Is that just for one customer?
Along with our 40th launch today, this year has been an incredibly busy one for Electron and our team. Our rocket has taken flight 7 times across our 2 launch sites, with our most recent launch just a couple of weeks ago, and one that also happened to include our latest efforts at rocket reusability. So with today's recovery mission back-to-back with our recovery launch just a few weeks ago,
music was very
let's take you through what today's recovery operations will include.
Electron is one of the world's most innovative rockets. Since its first launch in 2017, it's pushed the boundaries with 3D printed engines, electric turbopumps, and new carbon composite technology to become one of the most reliable and frequently launched rockets every year. And what's faster than building more rockets? Reusing the ones you already have. Which is why we're evolving Electron into the world's first reusable small orbital rocket, so we can launch,
cool animations,
splash down,
not a ton
and
of
launch
new
again.
information yet, though.
Here's how we'll do it. First, Electron lifts off from the pad, with 9 Rutherford engines on Electron's first stage propelling the rocket towards space. Around 2.5 minutes after liftoff, at around 70 kilometers above Earth, the 9 Rutherford engines on Electron's first stage shut down, allowing the rocket's first and second stages to separate. Tiny reaction control thrusters reorient the stage to the correct angle of attack to slice through Earth's dense atmosphere as it descends. The 12-meter-long stage falls to Earth at top speeds of more than 8,000 kilometers per hour.
As an investor, I don't need that, but as a fan, I do enjoy the
of close to
cinematic trailer.
2,400 degrees Celsius. About 5 minutes after stage separation, as the stage returns to Earth, a drogue parachute is released at around 13 kilometers altitude to help slow the rocket down. Less than a minute later, the larger main parachute is deployed from the first stage, bringing Electron's speed down from
I think for the
thousands of
neutron
kilometers
logo,
an
it has
hour
something to do with like
to
the
less
neutron
than 40
particle, how it
kilometers
looks,
an hour.
kind of like how Electron. I think they
Meanwhile,
probably have,
our recovery vessel waits patiently outside the
take a look at
splashdown
the
zone
logo
in the ocean, several
into
hundred
it.
kilometers from the launch site, and awaits confirmation of splashdown by telemetry. Once the captain receives confirmation, the chase is on. The recovery team speeds to the booster's location
how much
at
this
sea,
recovery
typically
boat costs
rendezvousing with
compared
it
to the
just minutes
helicopter.
after splashdown.
Be interesting
Using
to
a
see.
specially designed marine retrieval apparatus,
Have
Electron's
to be a
first
lot
stage
cheaper.
is plucked from the ocean and secured on the vessel for the return trip
Hey, Paul,
home to our
thanks for,
production complex
tuning in.
to undergo testing and refurbishment for reflight.
From launching rockets to marine recovery, or even building and launching a spacecraft to the moon, we have come a long way. If anything you've seen from us excites you, and you're wondering how you can be a part of this, we have around 100 open roles right now across our launch and space systems businesses. So visit the career
Definitely
section of our website and apply today.
Wow, there's a
We
lot
are
of
getting
employees
close
watching.
now to the launch handover to Electron at T-minus 2 minutes. That is when Electron's flight computer will take over the count.
Probably should
and the
make him
rocket
eat
will
his hat
switch
again,
to
Rob.
internal power. The Autonomous Flight Termination System, or AFTS, will also be enabled at the same time. Then, under a minute to liftoff, the propellant tanks will
Getting
be
close.
at their optimum pressure levels for launch. Ground control in the Range Control Center will confirm that the water deluge system on the pad is ready to be activated for when Electron's engines ignite.
The launch director will perform the T-minus 10-second countdown, and at T-minus 3 seconds, the engines will ignite ahead of the launch pad's hold-down mechanisms releasing at T0. We'll hand you over now to Mission Control for the remainder of the count and check back in with you shortly after liftoff.
Okay, 3 minutes.
This is the LD on mission. From now on, there should be no red flags on your critical LCCs. VCON LD on mission.
LD VCON.
Lock the auto sequence and confirm.
Confirmed locked.
And VCON confirm all expected primary flight computer ASGOs are green.
Confirmed ASGOs are green.
All operators, we are go for auto sequence start at T-minus 2 minutes. LD is go for launch.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for hanging out with me, Mr. Cool Things. Should sounds like you might have your own channel. Or miss. Sorry, the image is very small. Here we go. 2 minutes.
Avionics batteries have switched to internal power. Ground power disabled. The vehicle is fully on internal power. FTS is green and enabled for flight.
Yeah, let's light this candle. I guess
Lock
that
slot
could be
complete.
true.
System is in
Cyberface.
recirculation.
Anti-geysering is disabled.
Okay.
Stage 1 and Stage 2 are pressed for flight.
High flow engine purge enabled.
Somehow the red just makes it look even better. I think, anyway. Hey, Austin. Glad you made it. You made it right before the launch, too. Hope you're doing well. I'm assembling the new computer right now, actually.
T-minus 20 seconds.
Hopefully this will be my last live stream on the old computer. Anyway, here we go. 15 seconds.
10.
I feel like we need some
9,
music in the background.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff.
Wow. Here we go. Doesn't look like there's any issues with the engine, the reused one.
Safing launch pad.
Nice. Looks pretty normal. Normal.
Electron is up and away from the pad at Launch Complex 1, soaring through the sky and on its way to space for Capella. All is looking nominal with the rocket and its engines as the mission approaches its first notable event, Max Q, or maximum aerodynamic pressure, the most intense
So
pressure
reliable.
during flight that the rocket will
just jinx us,
experience.
but-
The call that we've cleared that milestone should be coming from mission control
Here we go,
shortly.
Max Q coming soon.
Vehicle is supersonic. And vehicle has passed Max Q.
Nice, nice.
There we
Prettiest
go.
launch site
That's
for
Max
sure,
Q
anyway,
cleared
Austin,
as
I
Electron continues with Capella's satellite on its orbital journey. The mission is moving along at 2,300 kilometers an hour
It's too bad
and
we
is
won't see
now
any,
past 19
neutron
kilometers
launches
in
from
altitude.
The next mission milestone will be the shutdown of those 9 Rutherford engines on the first stage, just ahead of the second stage separating to fire up its own
Stage
engine
1 guidance is nominal.
and continue that mission. That will be called out as MECO, or main engine cutoff,
AOS Chatham Station.
followed by stage separation, then stage 2 ignition.
Those call-outs from mission control should be happening shortly. So let's listen in.
Hello, Phoenix.
Stage 1
Felix,
propulsion
I'm
holding
also
the wall.
from Canada.
Stand by for MECO in roughly 30
Could
seconds.
be neighbors. Oh, okay. Is it? I don't think I've seen a launch there. Reused engine. Yeah, it seems to be all working perfectly.
Entered Bernard.
I wonder if we'll see a nice little pop in the stock tomorrow. You know, reused engine flying successfully, recovery mission. Yeah, that we've seen videos like that before.
MECO confirmed.
There we go. MECO. Stage separation.
Stage separation successful.
There
Stage
she
2 ignition
goes.
confirmed.
That is MECO, stage separation, and second stage ignition,
We have
all
ignition.
confirmed from mission control, and by what
Man,
you
that
saw
looks
from
cool.
Electron's vehicle cameras. We pulled up the video feed from the camera on the first stage as it begins to make its way
Wow,
back to the
I
end.
love the view
Meanwhile,
of the first
fairing
stage
on the
as well.
second stage should split and fall away shortly. We should hear that call across the net soon.
Can't tell if that left video's. I think it's frozen up though.
Fairing jettison succeeded.
You saw it there on
Fairing
your screen.
separation.
Electron's fairing has
Stage 2
split
propulsion
apart and
nominal.
fallen away as planned. Capella's Acadia satellite is
Stage
now
2
exposed to
guidance
space
nominal.
from atop Electron's kick stage and ready for payload deployment within the hour.
HVP battery discharge is
Electron's
nominal.
second stage is moving along
Hope
now
so.
at
I mean,
more
it's
than
done its job
8,400
completely now,
kilometers
right?
an
And it was
hour,
flawless,
and at
so
an altitude of over
definitely a good sign.
130
And it even,
kilometers.
you know, it was in the
Meanwhile,
ocean.
that
That's,
red
you know, not even
booster
something
is
really
on
SpaceX
its return
does, so.
trajectory. You can see it up on your screen to the left, with the second stage cruising along on your right. When the stage is separated, the booster carried on in an upward arc from the momentum. But what goes up must come down, and with a bit of redirection from its external thrusters, which you can see happening right now, that will position the rocket stage on the right angle to come back through Earth's atmosphere. And with that, Electron will be coming home.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
With 4 minutes into the mission, an Electron is well on its way to orbit after lifting off from Pad B at Launch Complex 1 right here in New Zealand. The Acadia satellite for Capella Space is sitting comfortably on top of Stage 2 as it moves along at more than 9,900 kilometers an hour. Electron is headed to a 640-kilometer circular Earth orbit today, so we've still got a bit further to go to reach the apogee at second stage separation around 9 minutes post liftoff.
For the first stage coming back to Earth, you might have just heard on the nets there that Stage 1 has reached its apogee, which is the highest point of its trajectory arc. That will mean it's starting to descend now, dropping in altitude as it will speed up with the force of gravity. It will travel this way for a few minutes before its drogue and main parachutes are deployed to help slow it down. Before that, though, as part of the primary mission, we will reach battery hot swap on the second stage. That's expected to take place at around 6 minutes into the mission.
Here you go with your hot swap, Rob. Hopefully you're nervous for no reason.
We're coming up now to battery hot swap on the second stage. This is an action that you'll see used only on Electron.
Yeah,
that is a swap of batteries that are powering our electric pump-fed Rutherford engine on stage 2. Electron will switch to a fresh new battery pack, and we might even see a glimpse of the old pair as they fall away. They're the shiny object you can see next to the engine, so once those drop away, you'll know the battery hot swap has been completed.
There we go soon, hot swap.
Recovery vessel acquisition of Stage 1 signal.
Yeah, there it goes.
Hot swap successful.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay.
Regeneration confirmed.
You heard it there from Mission Control. Electron's second stage has completed its battery swap and is continuing along nominally. The launch vehicle is exceeding speeds of more than 15,000 kilometers an hour in an altitude of 205 kilometers, while on its way now to the mission's target orbit of 640 kilometers.
It's kind of interesting, like, you know, they have no grid fins or anything for any kind of control once it starts re-entering. Yeah, I mean, hot swaps happened. Like, I'm feeling good here, guys. Cheers. I mean, I shouldn't cheers too early, I guess. Okay. Oh, it looks like we're losing. I mean, I think it's pretty normal to lose video like this. I wouldn't worry too much about it until we hear something else. It'd be cool if he did. I'd want to if I was him.
Stage 1 drogue deployed.
Oh, okay. It's too bad we don't have footage of it, but it sounds like that little...
That was great news from Mission Control, and while it looks like we've lost the video feed from Stage 1 as we expected, we did get that confirmation from Mission Control that the stage's drogue parachute has been deployed. That is excellent news.
Coming up on the main
just ahead of the main parachute, which should deploy in the next few seconds.
But it looks like we may not have video for the main parachute, but maybe it'll come back. Yeah, exactly. It's like it's not anything to worry too much about when the video drops like that. Man. 22,000 kilometers per hour.
Stage 1
Can you believe that?
There's the call we were waiting on. Confirmation from our team in Mission Control that the booster's main parachute has been deployed.
Okay, nice.
That will mean the first stage has well slowed down its pace and should be floating.
Terminal, 25 seconds remaining.
That stage should now be floating gently towards the water
Stage
out
1
over the
main is
Pacific
disrupted.
Ocean, where our recovery teams are in position and waiting patiently for that chance to move in. So just a few seconds away from the second stage's final actions. We've got second engine cutoff or SECO before the kick stage separates for its phasing orbit of Earth. Let's listen out for those milestones.
SECO confirmed.
Great news there from Mission Control.
Stage 3
With that
separation
second stage engine cold and the kick stage cleanly separated, all we have left now to complete the mission is payload deployment for Capella's Acadia satellite. The kick stage will now move into a coast phase with its payload atop. After that phasing orbit is complete, the Curie engine on the kick stage will light up to correct its trajectory to a circular orbit before deploying the payload, which should be coming up in the next 45 minutes or so.
Booster is continuing to make its way down to the ocean as planned. At sea, our recovery crew.
I wish we had some shots of the rocket coming down. This guy's seeming in a pretty good mood, though.
Before we break through, though, the latest on recovery is that the booster continues to make its way down to the ocean as planned. At sea, our recovery crew are on standby in the recovery zone waiting for that splashdown before they move in to collect the first stage. Once it has water landed, the crew will move in to pull it up and out of the ocean and onboard the recovery vessel before they begin the journey back to land. We will take a bit of a break now, but we'll come back to you in a few minutes with confirmation of booster splashdown. We'll be back shortly.
First ever reflown Rutherford is in the books.
Has visual on shoot.
It's pretty sweet. Wow, it got way out there, eh? Nice to hear from Peter. So they did use a kick stage as well. Yeah, we can't forget those dolphins. They're key to the whole operation. Ghost Eye, thank you so much again, by the way. Glad you made it. You're the man. Hope you're having a drink with me. In the tweet, you could see one that was all dark and like dirty, so I was pretty sure it was that one. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I was talking too much, guys. Do you know, did they say, are we coming back for footage of the ship recovering the rocket or anything like that?
And not only have we returned
at approximately T plus 43 minutes, 54 seconds.
It's literally called Molson Canadian. The name of the beer is Canadian, so they try to kind of, you know, trade on our patriotism, but it's like a cheap beer over here. It's not particularly great, to be honest. Booster test happening right now as well. Yeah, I didn't catch anything about recovery either. I guess we can hop over and see if SpaceX has their live stream going on. No? Would it be NASA spaceflight? Booster testing?
Eyes up, Guardians. New Destiny disc plates are here.
Okay.
Set off to explore a whole universe.
You know, super chatting, tips.nasaspaceflight.com, which is another great way to support us.
We'll see if it comes back. They will be back in a few minutes with news. Okay, I guess I can wait around. Yeah, it is a logger. Lab Padre is better. Let's see. Okay, now that is the... pretty sure that's the Tim Dodd music there. I don't think... Oh, here we go. There's not that many watching, eh? Guess cam 2.0 looks better. It does look like it's closer. I don't think... Here we go. We got a dual view going here. We'll be sure to hop back over to Rocket Lab if we get any info on the recovery. But like everything seems great. Like engine went without a hitch. Be interesting to see how many times they can refly this engine. And they said this is the final step before reflying a full booster, and that's in the coming months. So to me, that's like, you know, definitely before the end of the year. Probably, I don't know, what do you guys think? Like November, maybe? Coming months? I think they try to play it safe, so they're probably closer than they let on. I'm pretty excited for that. Yeah, the colors do seem to be better. I think you're right. Man, this is really close. It seems like the camera's practically inside Starbase. Do they let him set up in here? Oh. International call. Someone's trying to sell me something. Wonder if we're gonna get any. Thanks for hanging out, Rob. Appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Let's see how the After Hours is doing in Rocket Lab. Well, it sounds like NVIDIA, by the way, having good results is probably quite good for the overall market, including tech stocks and Rocket Lab. 45 should be whole booster. Let's see what we have going on. Just a little over 1%. Nothing too crazy, but I think we could have a nice day tomorrow after a nice day today. Has been a little down lately. Huge? What's NVIDIA? That is one thing I'm still kicking myself on. Not... I think I owned NVIDIA at one point a long time ago, and I sold it. I mean, what can you say? Like, look at this. Like, what else can you say? You just look at that and you're like, yeah. But maybe that'll be Rocket Lab one day, and I'll be sitting here, and there'll be other little younger investors like, why wasn't I in Rocket Lab? Still got nothing on the live stream. I still have the audio going on Rocket Lab. 6.5%? Did I... Was mine... Oh, you're talking about NVIDIA. Yeah. And that's good for the overall markets when they get a nice beat like that. It kind of, you know, it helps everyone. Let's check out what Mr. Beck is saying. Here we are. Oh yeah, that's a little old. I'm pretty sure the rocket's already in the water at this point. Well, I could be wrong, I guess. It could take a long time. No, I would think it would be in the water by now. I don't think $6 has been like a firmly established base at this point, if we're talking like technicals. Let's take a quick look at the chart again. I mean, we're already below 6. I mean, it's close, right? But I would say probably more like 5.5 might be like a solid base, or even 5.8, I guess. Yeah, we'll see. That could be the new base, perhaps. But again, like short term, I have no better guess than anyone else here what the short term moves might be. I don't know if we're gonna get too much else here on the video, guys.
Stage 1 splashdown.
Oh, stage 1 splashdown. A new one?
Hello again from Rocket Lab Mission Control. We are cutting into this break before payload to deployment to confirm what we have just heard over the nets, that Electron's booster has splashed down in the ocean as planned.
Come on, dolphins.
The Electron recovery operations will now move into stage collection from the water, with the crew, as you can see there, moving quickly to reach that stage and pull it on up.
They're really moving.
We'll have this video footage up for as long as we can, and if we're lucky, we might even see it pull up alongside Electron. But until we do, we will turn you back to this animated holding graphic that shows the position of Electron's third stage above us as it makes its way to its mark for payload deployment at around T plus 57 minutes. We'll see you back here then.
What do you guys think? Do you want me to hang around until we hopefully pull up to the booster? I'm not entirely sure how long it'll be. We are seeing viewers kind of start to trickle out as the most exciting action has already happened, so 57 minutes. Wow. 2 more launches. That's a crazy stat. More than the RS-25. Yeah, everyday astronaut, slow orbit. Oh, for payload deployment. Okay. Thanks for clarifying that. I wouldn't mind seeing on the map like where the boat is versus the rocket. Uh-oh. Did we lose something? I don't think it's me. Yeah, I saw that as well, by the way. Great news from Peter Beck. There is a splashdown confirmed, but the more interesting one was the perfect performance. How are you doing, Tim? Any more road trips lately? Yeah, still staying steady at about 1.7% after hours. Like what kind of person would you be thinking of? Like you're talking about like index funds, or are you talking about like I don't know, who else? I mean, it'd be nice to see some more index funds add them for sure. What is the bottom range of? I mean, I'm sure it's way out, but what's the bottom? What's the lowest valued stock in the S&P 500? I'm just curious. Market cap. Sounds like there are some companies in the S&P 500 around 5 billion. So, you know, Rocket Lab could get there one day. That would be an exciting day. I know when Tesla got added, it had a big event, but that was again because their market cap was already so big. So many people had to add so much of it in order to like weight their portfolios properly. That wouldn't be the case with Rocket Lab, but it could still be a big event. Berkshire, yeah, I don't think that would happen, but sure. Oh, Michael Burry, really? Isn't he always just short everything? Anyway, I could be wrong on that. That surprised me. Yeah, I guess they would have been. There's other... Oh, is it 15 billion? Well, that's a ways to go. And I know there's some other requirements other than market cap as well to be added. So I don't remember all of them, but I do think you have to be like a certain profitable for a certain number of quarters in a row and like other stuff. So definitely wouldn't happen in the near future. $12 months positive earnings. It could be done. It'll happen. What, 2026? Maybe? We'll see. Things are looking good for Electron. A lot more shared trading volume. Volume matters to be added to the... Anyway, guys, as much as I'd love to see this booster get fished out right now, I think I'm going to call it a stream. I've kind of monopolized the area for long enough here. And percentage of your shares. Okay. Yeah, if anyone who hasn't subscribed, if you are interested in doing that, it'd be great. Or giving this video a like. Obviously, there'll be no advertising money. It'll all be going to Everyday Astronaut for the little intro music. But, you know, it all helps spread the channel. Thank you guys a lot. Thanks, Austin. Yeah, I should start giving you a salary. 10% of all my earnings you can have. What's that, like $5? Anyway. See you guys later. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and watching the launch. It's been a lot of fun. Great to see the reused engine. Great to see another, looks like a successful recovery and obviously a successful mission, most importantly, on our way to 15 for the year. See you guys next time. Bye.